Okay, hello children of class 10. I think we have already done with romanticism, imaginations. I've already told you about the feeling for the motherland. Then we have already done with the hunger, hardship and popular revolt of the people. So today we are going to go through the revolution of the liberals. Clear? Now, parallel to the revolts of the poor, unemployed, and the starving peasants and the workers, in many European countries in the year 1848, a revolution was led. It was led by educated middle class under the way. Now, events of the February 1848 in France had brought the abdications of the monarch and a republic based on universal male suffrage. I think I have already told you that the voting was been given to the male, those who have the most of the money, those who have the money for the other taxes, they can give the vote. Okay. And in other parts of Europe where you can find out independent nation states, they do not still exist that time, such as Germany, Italy, Poland and Austro-Hungarian Empire, men and women of the liberal middle classes combined their demands for what? For the constitutionalism with national unification. Now, they took the advantages of the growing popular unrest to push their demands for the creation of a nation states. Everybody, they were fighting for the nation states. Okay. Now, in that nation state, they want to build their country according to the parliamentary principles. They have the constitution, freedom of the press and the freedom of the association. Clear? Now, in the German region, a large number of political associations, though I belong from the middle class professional businessmen, prosperous artisans, they came together in the city of Frankfurt and they decided to vote for all the German National Assembly. And on 18th May 1848, 831 elected representatives, they marched in a festive processions to take their places in the Frankfurt Parliament, convened in the Church of St. Paul. Now, there, what they did, they drafted a constitution for the German nation to be headed by the monarchy subject to the parliament. Now, in this thing, what happened? The crown, on the terms of Friedrich Wilhelm IV, King of Prussia, he rejected it. Okay, and he joined other monarchs to oppose the elected assembly. Now, while the opposition of the aristocracy and the military becomes stronger, the other side, the social basis of the parliamentary eroded. So the parliament was obviously dominated by the middle classes who resist the demands for the workers and the artisans, and consequently they lost their support. And in the end of the war, what happened? Troops were called and the assembly was forced to be disbanded. Clear? Now, here many of the issues of the extending political rights to women was also become a controversial, in which you can find out the large number of participants were the active women. They have participated over the years. Women had already formed their political association. They founded the newspapers. They taken part in the political meetings and demonstrations. But despite this, they were proclaimed of not getting a right to vote. So when Frankfurt Parliament convened in the Church of the St. Paul, women were admitted only as a observer to stand in the visitors' gallery rather than given the right to vote. Clear? So these are the things which happened during the time of the revolution of the liberals. Now we are moving towards Germany. Now there's one question: can the army be the architect of a nation? So after 1848, you can find out nationalism in Europe. They moved away from its association with democracy and revolution. Nationalist sentiments were mobilized by the conservatives for promoting state power and achieving political dominations over the Europe. And this can be observed in the process how the Germany and Italy came to be together as a unified nation states. So here in this thing, children, you are going to learn about one of the leadership of this movement. He was the Otto von Bismarck. He was the architect of the process which carried out with the help of whom? Prussian army and the bureaucracy. Now 3 wars over the 7 years with Austria, Denmark and France ended in the Prussian victory and completed the process of unification. And in January 1871, Prussian King William I was proclaimed German Emperor in a ceremony held at Versailles. Now, on the bitterly cold morning of 18 January 1871, an assembly comprising of the Prince of German states, representative of the army, important Russian ministers, including the Chief Minister Otto von Bismarck. They all gathered in the Hall of Mirrors in the Palace of Versailles to proclaim the new German Empire headed by the Kaiser William I of Prussia. Clear? Now, the nation-building process in Germany had demonstrated the dominance of Prussian states. The new state placed a strong emphasis on modernizing the currency, banking, legal and judicial system in Germany. Prussian measures and a practice often become a model for the rest of the Germany. Clear? So, here you can find it out that basically the German confederations into being a nation state governed by elected parliament, and this was already had been taken by the leadership of how to make German a national unification by the chief minister, that is Otto von Bismarck. Okay, he was the real architect behind the unification of Germany. Okay, so this much for today, children. Go through it. I am telling you very slowly so that you can understand the chapter wise, part by part. Clear? So if you have any doubt, any queries, please let me know and stay safe. Thank you.